Hey everyone, welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. I'm Jacob Letman. Before we get going with today's video, if you recently signed up to drive Uber in the United States, but you forgot to use a referral code when you signed up, or you didn't know that you could use a referral code, you can use a retroactive sign-up code to get a sign-up earnings guarantee of up to $1,000 when you start driving with Uber. It could be $100, $300, $500, $700, or $1,000, depending on what part of the United States you're signing up to drive in. But again, if you forgot to use a referral code, go down into the video description below. It's 8 simple steps to use a retroactive sign-up code, and you can get your earnings guarantee of up to $1,000 to start driving for Uber right now. Check it out. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. Jacob Letman here. Huge, or as President Trump would say, huge. It's huge news. It is huge news, actually. And it particularly affects each and every one of you that are viewing this video right now. So thanks for being here as we bring you this information. The $2 trillion stimulus package for the U.S. has officially been passed. All right. Woo! That's big news. Extremely big news. What that means, well, we're going to go over exactly what that means. This video particularly relates to the stimulus checks and the logistics of how and when those might come about and who's going to get those. So that's what this video topic is about. There is another video topic that you should look for that I have, and it's talking about the unemployment insurance benefits that we now qualify for as rideshare drivers, and there's a lot of information in there. So we're talking about 2 ways that this stimulus package can affect you as a rideshare driver. So again, this video, we're talking about the stimulus checks that we should be expecting. So first of all, a $1,200 check for every American that made, well, first you qualify if you made under $75,000, you will qualify for that $1,200 check. Couples, it's $150,000 per couple. So for example, let's say that you're married and your spouse makes $100,000 a year. You drive for Uber and Lyft part-time and you make $20,000. As a couple, as long as you file jointly, you should still fall under that $150,000 threshold and each still qualify for $1,200 individually. And then it's $500 per kid. And to be more specific with that, it's $500 per child that you have that's under 17. That you would claim as a dependent on your taxes. And so, anyway, even if you make, as a couple, over that $150,000 threshold, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get a check. Those numbers start to decrease as your income goes above that point. And I believe at over $100,000 as an individual or $200,000 as a couple, you don't receive any checks. I didn't look as much into that because that doesn't really pertain to as many of our viewers here on this channel. So if you make under $75,000 a year, you should be getting a $1,200 check. Now, how is that going to come about? Well, first of all, the IRS, they're the ones that are going to be distributing the funds. So if you already filed a 2019 tax report, they will be using that information to send your check. If you didn't file one for this year yet, which I have not, the federal, as many of you may know or may not know, the tax deadline has been extended from April 15th to June 15th or July 15th. Shoot, I can't remember. Sorry. It's either June 15th or July 15th. At any rate, irrelevant right now. The point being, if you have not filed a tax return this year, that's okay. They're going to go off of last year's tax return or the 2018 tax return that you would have filed in 2019. So that's where they will be getting the information for both your income and for whether or not you have children, dependents on your tax return that would qualify for the $500. Now, You must have a social security number to be eligible for this benefit. Again, you must have a social security number to be eligible for these benefits. Basically, making sure that you're an American citizen so that you qualify. There is a calculator that you can find online. Simply Google U.S. stimulus package calculator. And you'll be able to, there's several links. You can click on one of those. You'll be able to put in your information if you have any questions or uncertainties about the information that I'm giving you. Do your due diligence, follow up. This is your money. And since a lot of us aren't making money driving, this is extremely important. The good news is we don't have to do a lot here. These checks should be coming to us. Now, also, if you have not earned enough, let's say you just drive very, very part-time for whatever reason. So if you don't earn enough to qualify or to be required to submit a tax return, then I read that you can still get on the IRS website and you can submit one now to make sure that they have your accurate info. That's all it said. It said you can get on the IRS's website, submit one now. That was the exact wording. I don't know if they mean submit a tax return or tax information right now. It's kind of foggy because if you don't make enough and are not required to file one, so I don't really know on that, but the important thing is that in doing so, you're making sure that the IRS has your information so that they can then send you a check. Okay, so if you haven't, again, if you have not filed a tax return because you're not required to, because you don't make enough income, get on there, file one, I would say, and just put whatever income you do make on there. You won't have to pay taxes on it anyway. If you're not required to, you don't have to pay taxes because you don't make enough to. But that way they have your information so they can send you a check. Good. Okay, what else do we have here? Okay, so the hope is, and there's a lot of debate on how this is going to go down, the hope is that within 3 weeks these checks will be sent out. Trump wants to do it sooner. He's a go-getter, as we all know. April 6th, I think, is what he wants. A lot of people have said that's highly unlikely, pretty much unfeasible, but who knows? When this happened in the past, I guess it took up to 2 months for Americans to receive their checks. So, we'll see on the timeline on that. Now, the good news is, if you've done your taxes in the past and you set it up to have a direct deposit, initiated, instead of a check sent to you, then that is how your money will be getting to you. They'll be sending it out, direct deposit to your account. So you won't have to worry about waiting for a check in the mail because those will take longer, they said, which makes sense. Of course, the mail, they've got to process, print those, send them out. So that will take longer. If you're trying to change that, good luck. The last time that this happened, they said that their calls to the IRS over doubled and many Americans weren't even able to speak to anybody at all. So you can try calling them to update that information if you're worried about when that comes in. But again, best of luck trying to get in touch with the IRS during this time. Okay, do I have anything else that I need to let you know about it here? They've also talked about sending out preloaded debit cards to Americans instead of checks. I don't know. That doesn't even make sense. I feel like those could get stolen in the mail, so that probably won't go through. It's just what I read. Okay. Anyway, this is a for sure thing. They say 140 million Americans, they believe, will qualify for a $1,200 check. Again, you can Google search to find that stimulus package calculator, so you can put in your information and see for certain what you should be expecting. And is that... if you do get your check and you feel it's for less than what it should be, unfortunately, you're going to have to wait until you file taxes next year in order to file a complaint. You can also try and call and get in touch with the IRS, but it's highly unlikely because they've got their hands more than full, pardon the pun. So anyway, hopefully we all get our checks that we're expecting and everything goes good with that. But that's your information. That's your update. The stimulus bill has passed. This is a sure thing now, so checks are coming. I'm Jacob Letman. This is the Rideshare Hub. Make sure you check out my other video that's talking about unemployment insurance and how rideshare drivers now qualify for that. Very important stuff. Until next time, stay safe out there, everyone.